A disabled Air Force veteran's traffic stop turned into a trip to the hospital and now a lawsuit in court. Thanks for joining us. For WVLT News at 5, I'm Casey Wheelis.
I'm Ted Hall. Glad you're with us here, folks. Our Lindsay Stenger is looking through court documents. She says they detail an arrest of Brian Hucks, and he is suing the county and the deputy involved for millions.
Recently released court documents show that an Air Force veteran was arrested and tased in the back of the head by a Knox County sheriff's deputy back in 2022. Earlier this month, a federal appeals court ruled against the deputy, saying that the veteran is well within his rights to sue. What started as a search for a much younger hospital escapee ended with a veteran suffering permanent brain damage, and now a legal battle over how far deputies can go during a routine stop. In October of 2022, Deputy Randall Williams was on the lookout for a 34-year-old hospital escapee with brown hair. Instead, he spotted Brian Hucks, who was a decade older, shorter, and had long, dyed bright purple hair. The federal appeals court ruled the deputy lacked any reasonable suspicion to stop Hucks in the first place. When Hucks walked away, court documents allege that the deputy chased after him and tased him in the back of the head. That shock caused Hucks to seize and fall face first onto the pavement. He then claims that he suffered a fractured skull, a brain bleed, and permanent injuries that now require 24-hour care. The deputy's legal team argued that Hucks's active arrest warrants stripped him of his constitutional rights to sue. But the federal judges flatly rejected that argument, stating outstanding warrants do not erase a citizen's protection against unlawful police stops, with the deputy officially denied qualified immunity. Hucks is now seeking $3 million in damages. Reporting in Knox County, Lindsay Stenger, WVLT News.
The sheriff's office referred us to their law director's office when we reached out for comment.